Boys and girls, let's welcome Officer Joe.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Although this looks like a regular old pencil, it is not. This is a super duper, fantastic, extra special police pencil. And I know, let me hear some oohs and ahs. That's right. Oohs and ahs, because this is a fantastic pencil. There's only a few of them that are like this in the entire world.
What?
Because they have special buttons on them.
Special what?
I can't explain what the buttons do, but if you press one of them while we're here, we may have water come out, a car could pop out, I mean all sorts of crazy stuff. But the really cool thing about this is, as I'm asking questions, the people that get the right answer get one of these fantastic super duper police pencils, even way in the back, because I've been in the back before. I will be calling on people in the back, not just the people in the front, but in the back. So, with that said, let's get started. My name is Officer Joe, and I work for the Chesterton Police Department. I've been at the police department for almost 19 years, which makes me super old. Super old. Older, I've been a policeman longer than you guys have been alive. All of that has been in patrol. So this is a patrol uniform. I'm in patrol. My job is to drive around and help people out and give people advice, catch criminals, take people to jail, and really, most importantly, and what we're talking about today is take people off the streets that are trying to sell drugs and that have drugs in their possession because they have made poor choices, right? Yeah. So it's Red Ribbon Week, and I'm going to end up saying Red Ribbon Week a couple of times because it's so hard to say. And Red Ribbon Week started back in 1985, back when the Bears won the Super Bowl. And it started because of a special drug enforcement officer that was unfortunately, he was killed by drug dealers because he was doing his job and they didn't like it. So the DEA officer's name, his nickname was Kiki. So we're just going to refer to him as Kiki. Kiki did everything that he could to do his job and be the best DEA agent possible. Before he was a DEA agent, he told his mom that that's what he wanted to do. And his mom begged him, please, no, 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 please don't. It's so dangerous. And Kiki said, I want to make a difference. I want to protect you. I want to protect everybody in my family, everybody in my community, and I want to be a DEA agent. So that's what he did. And unfortunately, his mom's worst nightmare became true, and he was killed. But they didn't just stop there. His mom didn't just stop there and just sit and be sad forever. She still misses Kiki to this day. However, what she did was she started wearing a red badge, which then turned into a red ribbon over time. And in 1985, Red Ribbon Week started. And it's all about drug prevention and teaching kids why drugs are bad, teaching them about drugs, and most importantly, teaching them preventative ways to avoid drugs. Here's what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about some prevention. We're going to talk about what drugs are. And then if you guys are really good, I have a special guest that's going to come in and show you some really cool stuff. Cooler than what I can do. Who has big dreams? Who wants to be super successful? Who wants to accomplish all of their dreams? You're not even raising your hand. You've got to have big dreams. So, can we accomplish these dreams that we have if we use drugs? No! Because what drugs do, drugs affect our ability to function. Okay? So there is really two different types of drugs. There's the type of drug that makes us so tired and we can't function and we just want to sleep all day. And that means we can't finish school, we can't get a good job, we can't do much of anything because the drugs have got a hold of us and all we want to do is sleep and be a slug all day long. Then there's the type of drug that makes us super excited. We can't stop and we run around and we bounce off walls and we do all kinds of stuff because that type of drug takes a hold of our body and doesn't allow us to control ourselves. Does anybody want to be completely out of control and know that you shouldn't be doing something, but you can't stop? No. So how do we avoid that?
By not taking drugs.
Would avoid them by not taking them and try telling people that have them don't.
Bingo. So, don't press the buttons.
Where even are buttons?
From this point on in the presentation, anytime that we say or that I say drugs, here's what I want you to do. I want you to say no. But not just no. I want you to say no. So let's practice. I need a volunteer. I need a volunteer. And the yellow, I can't think of it. Pikachu. Come on up. What is your name? Gavin. Gavin, turn around and tell everybody, hello.
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 All right. I'm going to offer you drugs. I want you to use the no. Okay? Hi, Gavin. Would you like some drugs? No. You can do it louder than that, right? Let's try it. Hi, Gavin. Would you like some drugs? No. Okay. Everybody give Gavin a round of applause. Let's practice as a group. Are we ready? Yeah. You have your deepest, darkest no. Ready? Are we ready? Yeah. Do you guys want some drugs? Whoa. Okay. You guys picked up that really quick. You guys are really smart. Okay, so, at any point throughout the rest of the time, when I say the word drug, you guys are quick learners. We talked about the very basics of what drugs are. I want to make sure that you guys were still along with me. And we talked about how they affect your body. But we didn't talk about how they affect you. So, when somebody is using drugs, they do things that they wouldn't normally do. They steal from their friends. They steal from their family. They become very, very mean and nasty people. They stop worrying about hygiene. They stop worrying about everything. And in a sense, they become the mean, stinky kid. And we don't, who wants to be the mean, stinky kid? No one wants to be the mean, stinky kid. We don't want to hurt our families. We don't want to hurt our friends. And we want to dream big. So then we have to say no to. I'm going to share a story about a friend of mine. In second grade, I had a friend named Mike. Now you guys are in third and fourth grade. So it could be you guys could have a friend that I'm talking about right now that may end up down this path. Okay? So my friend Mike and I were best friends. We did everything together. Mike lived down the street from me. We had sleepovers. We were in the same class. We played sports together. We had the same interests. And Mike was like the coolest guy ever. And all through school, up until 8th grade, Mike and I did everything together. And then one day, in 8th grade, at Mike's house, his older brother, who had just graduated from high school and was the coolest dude ever, said, "You guys want to see something cool?"
Yeah.
Well, me and Mike, we said, "Heck yeah, we want to see something cool." And Mike's brother showed us some drugs. I was wondering if you guys were going to catch that. Good. And I immediately stepped back and thought, whoa, whoa, whoa. Things are pretty serious here. Those are not good for you. And I looked at Mike, and Mike had a different look on his face. Mike had the look of, that's about the coolest thing I've ever seen. And it kind of scared me a little bit. And then Mike's older brother took the drugs away. And I kind of said to Mike, "Yeah, I don't want anything to do with that." And Mike kind of looked at me like, it's not really that big of a deal. And we went about our business. Well then, over the course of about a year, Mike started changing. Mike stopped playing sports. Mike didn't do very well in school. And Mike started getting in trouble.
He took the drugs.
What happened was, Mike started using drugs. And one day, how I found this out for certain, one day when we were in high school, Mike asked me to watch the door. We were in swim class. I said, okay. Like, yep, it's still here. Everything going okay in there? Mike said, oh yeah, just a little bit. And I'm like, yep, it isn't going anywhere. And then I smelled something. I'm like, what in the world is that? And then Mike came out, and Mike looked just a little bit different. And I asked Mike what he was doing in there. And Mike said he was using drugs. No! And I was like, holy smokes. And I kind of did, Mike, what are you doing? And Mike just, oh, it's not that big of a deal. I just do every once in a while. It's not that big of a deal. And throughout the rest of our high school year, this was when we were freshmen, Mike would ask me to watch the door for him. And I didn't want to be a bad friend, and I didn't want to tell him no, and I certainly didn't want him to get in trouble. So I did. And what I was doing, I was actually being a terrible friend. Because if I was being a good friend, I would have told my parents, I would have told the teacher, I would have told his parents. Because drugs were ruining Mike's life. Mike was not the same cool guy that he was. Mike became the mean, stinky kid at school because of the drugs. And I reached a point where I didn't want to have anything to do with Mike. And Mike started hanging around with a different group of friends. And that was that. After high school, I came across Mike at the grocery store. And I was shopping, and I was in the cereal aisle, and I was like, do I want peanut butter crunch or regular Captain Crunch? And I thought, I'm going to go with peanut butter crunch today because I like peanut butter. So I took the peanut butter down, or peanut butter crunch, put it in my cart, was walking, and then I saw Mike. And Mike looked really, really, really bad. Mike looked like he lived in a van down by the river. Mike was filthy. Mike was moving real slow, and Mike had drool coming out of his mouth. And Mike came up and tried to talk to me and my girlfriend at the time. And I said, Mike, what in the world happened to you? I said, are you still using drugs? I knew the answer to that. And Mike said, it's not that big of a deal. And I said, Mike, I'll help you. I'll help you any way that I can. Where can we start? And Mike said, I don't need your help. I got mad and turned around. And that was, I didn't see Mike. I didn't see Mike for about 10 years. In between that time, I saw Mike getting arrested in the paper. for drug-related offenses. And then I stopped hearing about Mike. And I thought Mike had died. I thought Mike had taken too many drugs and Mike was dead. Then I saw Mike at a public function one day. And Mike looked really, really old, but I could tell he was clean. I could tell he had clean clothes on. He was able to talk to me. And Mike said that he had stopped using drugs about a year ago. And he was done with them because they had ruined his life. Mike said that his family no longer talked to him. Mike said he had no friends. Mike said that he had basically stolen everything that he could possibly steal from his parents. Mike had a felony on his record, which means that he can't get a good job. He also isn't able to do certain things because he has a felony on his record. And Mike basically said that he has ruined his life. And Mike said these exact words as we stood there and talked. Mike said, he said, "Joe, I wish we could go back to when we were younger. I wish I could choose not to use drugs. I wish that every day was not so hard. I can't get a good job. I can't do the things that I dreamed of. And worst off, my family has nothing to do with me. I have nothing anymore. I hurt my family too many times, and I just wish that we could go back to when we were kids. When we were kids and playing sports, and everything was fun." That's what Mike said to me that day. Now that was almost 5 years ago now. Since then, Mike has continued to make good decisions. Mike has gotten a job. Mike has actually found a girlfriend. But life every day for Mike is still super, super hard. And I stay in contact with Mike because Mike was a really, really good friend that chose to make really, really poor decisions. And I sometimes feel bad that I didn't help Mike back when we were younger. Because being a good friend is helping your friends when they need help. And anybody that's making poor decisions and using drugs needs as much help as they can possibly get. And that means you as a friend are telling teachers, parents, or anybody that will listen that you know will get the help for the friend that you need. That's being a good friend. Not worried about whether or not they're going to get in trouble. Not worried about whether or not they're not going to like you. It's worried about them. And that's why we have to make good decisions for ourselves. And when our friends are making poor decisions, we have to help them make good decisions.
Yes.
So you guys have been really, 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 really good today. For that, I have a special guest. Say that when we hear the word drugs, and just now when we were yelling no, anytime from this point on when you hear that, I want you to think that, no. But not just think no, think why we're saying no. Because they're so terrible, because they're so unhealthy, and because they're going to ruin your life, and they can potentially kill you. There is nothing good about drugs at all. Nothing. Not a single thing. If anybody says, oh, it's really cool, and it's really neat, and just try this, and it's not that bad, they're wrong. Because I've been a policeman for 19 years, and I have seen boys and girls make horrible, horrible choices, and I've seen boys and girls get thrown out of their houses, and I've seen boys and girls ultimately have used too many drugs and have died. And nobody should ever do that. And it's really simple. We just say no. So when we're saying no in our heads, or as we grow up here and you get put into situations and you know the situation is bad, make good decisions. And it's really simple. All we say is no. And we walk away. And if it's a friend of ours, we get our friend help. Okay, this is Sergeant Matt Edwards from the Porter County Sheriff's Department and his cool police dog, Joker. So I'm going to turn it over to Officer Matt. Hello.
TJ.
You know, a cool fact was, I went to Brummitt School. I came here years. If you thought Joe was old, I'm even older. Real fast about me, I've been doing police work for 20 years. I also started out as a Chesterton police officer. I actually worked with Officer Joe. I can tell you some funny stories about Officer Joe, but we'll leave those behind. But I left Chesterton and I became a Porter County Sheriff's Officer, and that's what I do now. I do the same thing as Officer Joe. I ride around every day, I chase bad guys, I catch bad guys, I help people, and that's what we do. Joker is my second police dog. I had a police dog before him, and he's my second one. I've been, like I said, for 20 years, 15 out of my 20 years, I've been a canine officer. Joker's been with me 7 years now. Who thinks, how old is Joker? Does anyone know? How old do you think he is? What's your guess? No.
7.
No, one more guess all the way in the back, the boy right here in the black, in the red. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
9.
Well, pretty close. He's 8. He'll be 9 in a few months. But he's actually an older dog. But you wouldn't know. He acts like he's 2 years old. But Joker's from overseas. He's from over in Europe. So my commands that I give to him are Dutch. I speak a foreign language to him. Joker does several cool tricks for police work. However, today the cool trick that he does is he helps us locate drugs. And without him, sometimes we would find the drugs, sometimes we wouldn't. But real fast, who thinks they know how much Joker costs? The girl all the way in the corner with the glasses. How much?
15.
What'd she say?
15.
The kid with the glasses in the back there. Yep.
1,500.
$1,500. One more guess. The girl right there. Yep.
500.
$500. $15,000. That's the price of a new car. So the sheriff's department paid basically to buy a brand new car is what he cost. What's so special about Joker that's why we would use Joker? The girl right here, right here. Yep. Why? What allows him to do that? Yep, his nose. Make sure Joe gets attention. His nose. A dog can smell 1,000 to over 1,000 times better than a human can smell. Some say 1,000, some say 100,000. It's never been proven, but they can smell. When I walk in here, it just smells like a building, smells like a school to me. When Joker walks in here, he smells the school, he smells the books, he smells each and every one of you. Everyone has a different smell to the dog. That's why we use the dogs, because they can really help us on the road. So one of his primary duties is if Officer Joe stops a car and he thinks there's drugs in there, but he doesn't smell them, but he wants to search the car, he can call for Joker. The sheriff's department, on top of Joker, we also have 4 other dogs. So Officer Joe can call him. If he alerts to the car, then Officer Joe can search the car. How's he going to tell us that he found drugs? The kid and the camel.
By barking or
Barking is one way.
scratching.
There's barking one, scratching is one. There's one other way that he's going to tell me right here.
Come back to you.
No, one more guess. All right, here you go. Jumping? Nope. Last guess right here. He's doing it right now. He's doing it right now. He's doing it. Sitting right there. That's how he tells me. That's considered a passive dog. So he's going to sit. The reason we use sitting dogs is if someone's got a really expensive car and he goes up and he scratches it. Well, sometimes people want to sue us and they tell us we got to pay for it. So that's why we go with a sitting dog. It does no damage to their car. So what we did was we hid some drugs. See if Joker can find them. Does anyone smell the drugs? Does anyone know where they're at? They can smell them. You can smell them? No. You can smell where's it at?
I don't know. I smell something weird.
Okay. So who thinks it's in that box?
It's me.
Sit. So I brought 2 boxes out here.
Guys, on your pockets, please. Everyone needs to be able to see.
So real fast. Like a human. Put your ball. I don't go to work for free. He doesn't come to work for free neither. So how would I pay him for doing his job? The girl in the orange.
You would pay him by giving him a treat.
No, not really a treat.
By giving him.
Yep, I give him a, there you go. I give him a ball. That's all the dog wants to work for. He just wants to work for a ball. So that's how I pay him. So if I never give him a ball, then he stops working, just like I would stop coming to work if I didn't get a paycheck. So that's how we'll do it. So I'll reward him. Now if the ball accidentally rolls towards you, don't touch the ball. He'll get it. He doesn't need anyone to roll up to him. We'll get it. So we'll check. Hopefully he finds it. I don't know. Los. Is it there, you think?
Yeah.
And we know that because he's sitting, right?
Yeah.
Soup. Here. Soup. So he keeps looking up to the sky because he thinks, because I'm tricky, I'm a magician. He thinks I always stand behind him and I always throw it from the sky. So he always thinks the ball's coming from the sky. He'll stay there all day until this ball falls out of the sky. So he's a cute little dog. He may not be the smartest because we've played this game thousands of times. You think he knows that I'm going to throw the ball, but he still just thinks that ball's going to fall out of the ceiling. So that's what he does. That's one of the cool tricks that we go around the schools that we show him, that he's a tool for us and it's their nose that's so important to us. Like I said, Joker does live with me. He comes home every day, he goes to work every day. If I take a sick day, he takes a sick day. If I take a vacation day, he takes a vacation day. But if I come to work, if he's able to, he comes to work with me. Joker's in his last year. He's going to work one more year and then he's going to retire. And then he'll become a house dog. And then I'll probably take another dog. But he's in his final year because he is going to be 9 years old. He'll be 10 when he retires.
All right, boys and girls, I'm sure you have lots of good questions to ask. However, we are out of time. So what do you say?